Welcome back to AI 575 with Arrow. This is the International. Just moved the slider all the way to the left, and my aim point's the bottom of the top arrow, just a little bit. It's pretty much in the middle of these two pillars. And then full send with the Glide Skip Ballista Pro, just missing that cactus there. Skipping through this little bit of a bush. Pretty good drive for CC5. And now with the accurate windbreak fuse, aiming at the bottom of the top band, treating it because of the incline like it's about a 85, maybe even 90 foot throw in, maybe 85. CC9, I like to go again, I think slider all the way to the left with Light Glide Ballista Pro. Aim point is the bottom of the top green arrow. Straight pullback, full send. And this usually will either get a skip off that wall or off that ramp, but still leave me in the clearing here. And I haven't gotten this eagle yet. Come pretty close a few times, but maybe not quite full power send with the Glide Skip Ballista Pro again. And bad kick off the wall there. Usually end up with like a pretty easy putt, but have a tiny little bit of a throw in here. So once again, because of the incline, treating it probably like a 90-foot throw in or something like that from the ground there. CC7 with this 3-wind. Aim point's going to be the bottom of the bottom green arrow, right at the bottom of the, where that pillar in the background, where that kind of meets the ground, and there's a little fissure on the right side of that pillar, I guess. That's sort of the vertical aim point there. Kind of give it a little bit of a decent ace run there. But my main consideration is just not hitting that first pillar, usually in that 3-way. That was Light Glide Ballista Pro. And yeah, 46 feet, that's pretty doable. I mean, a lot of people will putt that, but once I get into like 45 feet, I tend to switch to throw-ins there. With a 1-wind, just straight pull back on a forehand line with the Wind Glide Ballista. Hoping not to end up in the water, and then I usually end up with a little decently, well, I have to probably put a bit of hyzer on this shot. Main consideration here is just obviously getting over the lake and then not hitting that tree. So trying for the albatross there. Not a bad little run there, but I think it probably needed a bit of a tailwind there to give it a true run, or just a better skip off that bank. Here I don't like to move the aim point at all. I just keep it as is, and then splitting the right edge of the glide wind recoil with the edge of the Wi-Fi curve there. Good kick this time. And that should leave me with about, what, 70, 80? So, yeah, 68 feet. So in this 3-wind, I'm going to get a little bit of lift on the throw end. So I'm probably going to treat it like about a 50-foot throw in neutral wind. And I think the winds are a little different now, right? In version 1.403 or whatever the version is now. I wonder if I'm using the same one here. Yeah, okay. Don't move the aim point again initially. Top of the Glide Skip Ballista Pro is splitting the second Wi-Fi curve. Trying to sneak through these two trees and... Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man, I forgot I did that this time. 113 feet. And I can't remember if I snagged this. I feel like I missed this. This sucks, watching this in retrospect. So in a 3-wind, I think I probably need to treat this about, I was going to say like maybe 120, 125 feet. I can't remember if I overshoot this. I might get too much lift. Yeah, overshot. So I guess I needed to just treat it like about 115-foot throw-in then. So I actually, I needed probably the top of the disc to be more like in the middle of the first Wi-Fi curve for that to be effective. I may not have even had quite the right line there, so I got more lift than I anticipated, and that's a bummer. That's a stroke left on the table right there. Here my aim spot is the bottom of the middle arrow on this spot where that cliff meets the like mountain line in the very far background, and that usually sends me right through these trees here into this open clearing. This is my play unless I'm being more aggressive on Frozen Valley 2 and trying for that island there on the right, and then just send it with Glide Skip Ballista Pro. Make sure I get enough anhyzer so that I don't end up in the drink anyway. And then, you really don't have a a realistic eagle bid here, but even if you, I think even if you have a really amazing Frozen Valley 2 drive and follow-up shot, you're still maybe looking at like 300 feet for the eagle look. So I think it's way more important to bag a consistent birdie on this hole whenever possible. 86 feet on a bit of a decline, downward shot there. I was gonna take the phrase downward dog like a yoga pose, but that's not what this is. So pretty decent run so far. Just the one stroke left on the table, I'd say. Realistically, barring ace and albatross magic. So here my aim spot is going to be the bottom of the top green arrow, just a little bit higher than the part where the ice meets the snow. And I use the accurate glide musket here every single time off the tee here. You can actually, just sneak through. That's about a perfect drive there. If only I had done that at the end of the PT this last cycle. And then standard throw in here. Again, this is a shot that a lot of people will just putt in. But for me, pretty much right at 45 feet is when I switched to throw in. And Frozen Valley 6, I think this is, yeah. So full send with an accurate windbreak musket, and didn't adjust the initial aim point at all. Now I tend to try to get out kind of maybe like on the right side of those trees. I've had once or twice like a bad kick bounce off one of those trees. But if you end up like anywhere inside of that group of 3 trees, you're going to have a pretty makeable shot there. So 12 on the front 9, not too bad, but still left that one stroke on the table. That'll probably come back to bite me. Split disc hyzer on a forehand line with the wind glide ballista. That's how I counter that 3 wind on this. And then I'm going to have to shoot pretty low now with the Glide Skip Ballista Pro. And mainly just concerned with getting through this tree right immediately to my right and the tree a little bit further to the left. Also not hitting this first hill if I aim too low. And then gotta not hit that tree as well, obviously. So get a pretty good bank, pretty good skip. That worked out just about exactly the way that I wanted it to. And then easy putt from 28 feet. I'd say this is one that you probably want to practice if you're not feeling super consistent with that. I don't know what I was thinking here. This is even taking a little long by my standards. I was just thinking. I guess I was not. Oh, that's right. I couldn't. I went to go. That's what happened. I went to putt it and it just wouldn't go. So I had to switch to throw in there, even though I normally wouldn't. I normally would just putt that. I forgot that happened. Okay, so here my aim point's the bottom of the bottom arrow, and I guess I'm using accurate glide musket. Can't remember. Yeah, okay, just sneak through here. That's definitely my go-to play on this one is accurate glide musket. And some winds I'll have to disc up to like a glide wind recoil. But for the most part, I find if the disc can get it done and the accurate function is usable, I think you want to do that as much as possible, especially on these newer 4, 5, 6 courses, but definitely on a tournament like the International here. So here my aim point's the bottom of the top arrow. I'm aimed on a vertical line with that tree, trying to sneak between those 2 trees. That was pretty perfect execution here with the glide wind recoil. And then should be a pretty easy putt. I remember thinking I'm going to get like a tiny little bit of leaf collision probably here, foliage effect. And, oh yeah, that's right. I was like, oh, don't spit out. Those moments. CC2, slider all the way to the right with a light glide ballista pro. Aim point's the bottom of the bottom arrow. There's a tiny little crack on the canyon there if you go back and look. That's my aim point for this one. And then get in the right amount of anhyzer to skip out that canyon. This is another thing to just practice. And then also practice the throw-ins for this follow-up shot because if you get pretty comfortable with, like right now I'm using accurate windbreak river, you can snag this one for eagle. Every once in a while, definitely like less than a 5% make, but certainly helps when you can snag. Oh man, that's right. I almost got it. Oh man, so close. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, so well. Okay, and here I think I go slider all the way to the left. Aim point's going to be the bottom of the bottom arrow at the bottom of this kind of like, I don't know, I think of it as like the Coyote Canyon triple Mando. Similar to, oh yeah, that's right. I got lucky again right there. Ooh, super lucky kick. So I needed to put a little bit of Anheuser then on that drive with the 3 right to left wind. I don't know if I thought the wind break would break the wind a little bit more, and it just didn't there. Prayer hands. I think Chucker was the one that told me about prayer hands. I did not visualize this as prayer hands before. Now I can't unsee it. So there was just accurate glide. Musket. I forgot, man. I had all kinds of weird little things that don't generally happen. I think I didn't move the initial aim point there. Tailwind's gonna produce just a tiny bit of fade here, even from 66 feet. So trying to counter that just a little bit. That's why you see a touch of Anheuser there on the throw-in. But yeah, prayer hands. Yeah, another Frozen Valley 2. I think I'm probably gonna do the same thing as before. Yeah, Light Glide Ballista Pro. No slider, no, but then the aim point, I guess I went a little lower here because of the wind. So I could try to aim for that like same kind of spot. You can see me skipping through that same exact gap in the trees. Went a little far. Oh, so I definitely got my luck back there. So I think that was, I consider that the neutralizer from that stroke I left on the table. Man, that was better to be lucky than good. And then here I really didn't put enough Anheuser on this. Probably should a little bit more Anheuser here. So I get stuck behind this log and have an unnecessarily, not like crazy difficult situation here, but just not unnecessarily difficult if I had gotten the skip over this. And yeah, try not to end up too high on this bank, but just trying to get as close as possible for the throw-in. And then I didn't love this situation. 127 feet, 2 wind, so I'm aiming like kind of like splitting the pin and the right side of the top band. That's like my vertical aiming point. And then the top of the disc right here, that's about my 130 feet throw-in point there. So I'm super glad that worked out. And that's probably the spot that I tend to use in that kind of left to right crosswind when it's a 2 wind. Slider all the way to the right, aim points the bottom of the top green arrow, kind of on a horizontal line with the bottom of the basket bubble. And I think I was trying to ace run this. You can hit that with the Roll Glide Ballista Pro. You just need a certain wind and still kind of messing around with dialing it in. But yeah, you can definitely hit that with a Ballista Pro, the right shot. So here again, you'll see me use the accurate glide musket. Aim point is the bottom of the top green arrow, right where there's like a spot where, yeah, there's a spot like at the bottom where the snow meets like the cliff, where you see on the cliffside it's gray and it stops being white there. And then I went over to the right, so I'm in a vertical line with that tree to counter this, the like extra fade sauce that happens in that powerful 3 wind. So I got pretty lucky to avoid the drink there, but this is almost exactly where I ended up on the last shot. I just was 80 feet away, but behind that same wall. So I was like not messing around with anything, just do a tiny little layup shot here. And I decided to go a little bit higher here to just make sure I didn't hit that rock or anything and try to go not that much power at all. But yeah, that's another, man, that's 2. I forgot that was, yeah, that's 2 strokes left on the table. But then I got that one back from the lucky not OB on Frozen Valley 2. So here I think, yeah, slider all the way to the right. I think I do that every time, regardless of wind. And then aim points the bottom of the top arrow on a vertical line with those 2 trees, that one and the one further on the right. Decent little run there. Needed to be a little higher. So yeah, I might need to, I don't know if that disc has enough juice to quite make it. I can't remember the last time I made that ace, but oh well. Frozen Valley 1, I think I don't adjust the initial aim point here like the slider, but I use a Light Glide Ballista Pro generally if I'm going to run it, Glide Roll Ballista Pro if I'm trying to park it, or just have the smallest comebacker possible. So I think that's what I decided to do here. I didn't think that I was going to have that much of a chance here. And again, I mean, this ace is like, I don't know, a 1% roll. So just figure it's better to have the smallest comebacker possible. And easy putt. On Frozen Valley 6 again. Yeah, gonna not move the initial aim point. Maybe go lower. Yeah, lower into the right. and then full send with an accurate windbreak musket. And you can see here, this is, yeah, so I'm decided to get on the right side of those trees that time. It's a little too close for comfort last time, and then super routine 57-foot throw in with an accurate windbreak fuse. And that's my spot for about what you need for 60 feet. Cool. I've also landed in that boat before. That's pretty sweet. So again, you'll see me, I don't move the initial aim point or slider, splitting the right edge of the recoil with the right edge of the Wi-Fi curves. And this one was a much cleaner drive. That's what I'm generally trying to do every time. Yeah, so now a super routine putt from 16 feet. Once in a while, man, you'll get a spit out from these where you're just like, super routine, super routine. No. Here, don't change the initial aim point, and doing the same kind of idea, splitting the right edge of the GSBP Ballista Pro with the right edge of the Wi-Fi curve, trying to not hit that same tree this time. I kind of did, well, I clipped the foliage effect, but I didn't hit the trunk of that same tree, so it was better. And secure that birdie. Yeah, this is the one I missed last time. Dumb. I use that line because I mean, I usually hit it. That's like I'd say 90+% for me. So bottom of the bottom green arrow is the aim point here, and full send with an accurate glide musket. That's always what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get on the left side of that tree I just passed, and then even if I end up behind these thinner trees are usually super easy to get around, and even if you have to do a rotate the world trick to put it into the basket there. I love the aesthetic of Cajo backwoods. It's really pretty. Slider all the way to the left every time on CC5. Aim points the bottom of the top arrow. Again, I'm splitting the vertical line between these first two pillars. And then I'm going to do a straight pullback full send. Glide skip Ballista Pro. Get one when you can. I'm sure it like has to be in the shop now. I got crazy lucky with my Glide skip Ballista Pro. I got it as like a level up reward, I think, like pretty soon after they were first introduced, so yay me. Okay, 29 feet. Have to elevate it quite a bit. Always trying to just sneak over the cage, but glad to be that close for that. And yeah, I haven't left any real strokes on the table here. Hole 7. Yeah, in a 1, 2, or 3 wind, I change my aim point. So bottom of the top green arrow is right where like the sand meets the pillar. There's like a right angle created there. That was where I was aiming. And then what that hopefully does with the Light Glide Ballista Pro is sneak just over that and then have a very manageable throw in. Yeah, 54 feet. So that's generally going to work in a 1, 2, or 3 left to right wind if you've got the Light Glide Ballista Pro. If you don't have the Light Glide Ballista Pro, I think you may want to play this hole for par. You just definitely don't want to go OB. I mean, on any hole, but don't go in the water on that one. Slider all the way to the left. Aim points the bottom of the top green arrow. Once again, at the bottom of, and this time, since I don't have that right to left wind, you can see this works out exactly as I was intending last time, since I didn't have to counter that wind. Easy. Easy peasy. Yeah. Okay, so that's a 33. Record on this is a 34, held by Sick Nick. Congrats to him on a solo record here. And yeah, I'll post some more A tiers for the rest of this week. Stay tuned, like and subscribe, and share if you're getting value out of these.